Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com. Remember, carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
I don't want to grow up. Do you want some?
Jurassic Park. Now playing at PSW.
Ecto goggles with Ecto Bumper, Neutron Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
You like? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 112 of Yes Have Some podcast. Abby's losing her patience. And Jake, what are you losing?
Jesus Christ, my mind.
Your mind. We are so happy to be here with everybody tonight. We've got a lot going on. This is a very busy month for Yes Have Some podcast. I feel like
we're so tired.
We're so tired.
We're so busy.
My feet hurt. I'm a poor.
We're so little.
I feel like all the grandparents from Willy Wonka, just laying in bed all day, ready
Dude,
to.
That's what we're doing.
Being filthy liars, talking about how they can't work and shit until somebody gets a golden ticket and then they pop up and do a dance.
So, I guess I can dance now.
Yeah. I never thought that I would get a chance to go and do some shit. I don't know, whatever the song is.
That's it. No,
that was it. Cheer up, Charlie. When she's singing Cheer Up, Charlie, what if he turned around and was like, hey, you know what? I would, but I'm having cabbage water for dinner again, and I'm very depressed.
My grandparents are fake sick,
and I'm the only one with a job in a household of 10.
Yeah. And also, what country are we in? Like, where are we?
Where the fuck?
Because it looks like Germany, sounds like England, and
But there's television like America.
Yeah, it's very very strange. So, by the way, I love
Yes Have Some episode 112, the episode where they just talk shit about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. Dude. We're talking shit. Like, also, Willy Wonka is the Donald Trump of his time, if you think about it, right?
He's got a lot of money.
Yeah. He's
terrifying.
He's offensive. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyways, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Hi, I'm Craig. I'm here with Abby and Jake, as per usual. We do have a lot going on. We've got Patreon. We've got the Yes Have Some Club with the membership card. We had a ton of signups. We're completely overwhelmed. And on top of all that, we had an awesome interview in our last episode. So we had Violet Ramis Steele on to talk about Ghostbusters' daughter. And man, that was a little bit of a... I had fun. And she was great, and she was super honest and candid, but definitely it's heavier subject matter for us. We haven't done too many of those.
Every now and then we do, though.
More serious
interviews,
we
had
the
but wasn't it? It was heavy, but wasn't it also kind of cathartic? It also felt. It almost felt good. It was strange because kind of like what we said in the episode, it's so very weird to feel like you're connected to a famous person so much that when they pass away, it actually affects you emotionally.
Right.
And Harold Ramis was definitely like that for me. And it was cool, listening to his daughter talk and kind of share some memories with us, and I don't know, it was heavier material, but it also just in the end I guess that's
closure,
that's how it is. It's like closure. It's that's how it is with most things. You keep it in, it starts to pile up or whatever, but it was nice to talk about. And I don't know. It was good having her on.
Yeah. When something affects you like that, it's rare to have someone who's like related to it firsthand, like have a conversation with you, and to be able to read that book, like it enlightened and informed like more of who Harold Ramis was as a person for me. And so, yeah, it was really cool. And she's a very cool person, and I very much enjoyed chatting with her.
She's great, and I'm sure we'll have her back on. And I kind of alluded to it, but I didn't want to like stay on this aspect of it. Like, you want to be super respectful of her and her time and what her and her family have been through, because it's obviously like, for as awful it is for us, you know, as fans, it's her father.
Yeah.
And she loves Ghostbusters, and she loves Caddyshack, and she loves, you know, Vacation and Groundhog Day, but it's her dad, and that connection is obviously much stronger than the film connection or whatever. But we didn't, because he got sick in 2010 and he passed away in 2014. You know, we didn't have podcast interviews with Harold Ramis or social media with Harold Ramis. I would like to think that like he would have been like really fun on Twitter, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure he would have been. Yeah.
So, Jake, I completely agree with both of you guys that the kind of getting that firsthand connection, and even more than just like reading the book's one thing, but just having the conversation was it was really cool, and I really appreciate her coming on and talking about that stuff. So
yeah, definitely.
If you haven't listened to the interview,
super special episode
of Yes Have Some Podcast, episode 111.
Episode 111.
111. It was good. So thank you to Violet. Thank you to all of our listeners, new and old. Obviously, if you are just finding Yes Have Some Podcast for the first time or listening to us for the first time, one thing that really helps us out a lot is getting an iTunes review. So people listen to podcasts on all sorts of different platforms. We get that. But one of the key factors in visibility in the world of podcasts is still those reviews on iTunes. So we're asking you to take a few minutes. Please.
Yeah.
We're begging you from the bottom of our broken hearts.
Gimme. I need.
Exactly. Go to iTunes, find Yes Have Some Podcasts, and follow those steps to leave a review. Let us know what you think of the show. Those 5-star reviews very much help us. We know every podcast asks for it. We know it can be a little bit annoying, but here's the thing. It helps us a lot. Yeah, if you just do it, we'll stop asking. It only takes literally like maybe 1 minute to go to iTunes, find Yes Have Some, and leave a review. You leave your star review, write some comments, and that kind of stuff helps us a lot. And we very much appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody for checking us out. Yes, Have Some.
I gave 5 stars to my optometrist today in an email, so you can do it.
Oh, good job.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
So what about your optometrist experience led you? I want to tell
what I said? I said very friendly staff. That was my comment.
Just like us.
Yeah.
That's like the same as us.
Very friendly staff.
What else was the same? What else?
That was the only thing I said, because the comment box was very small and I didn't feel like typing a paragraph.
Yeah.
But I gave him 5 stars.
No, there you go. There you go. Do they have a podcast?
I hope
at Lens
so.
Crafters?
I hope that Dr. Boxer has a podcast.
Yeah. What would his podcast be called? Like Eye on the World or something like that?
This is gonna hurt just a little bit.
What are they called? They're what's their technical term?
Optometrist?
Podtometrist.
Oh,
so it's like
podtometrist?
Podtometrist. Proctologist.
Podtology.
All right. And those 5-star reviews are coming down to 3. Coming down to 2 stars.
Thank you.
Find us on social media as well. Instagram and Twitter at YHS Podcast. And of course, the official Facebook group, Yes Have Some Group Therapy. There is some shit going on in group therapy, man. People are... group therapy.
It's called group therapy. There's supposed to be some
It's a microcosm for the political state in America right now. Like, people are coming in there with their hot takes about Avengers and Star Trek and Star Wars and everything in between. And it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys for participating. If you're not a member of group therapy, all you got to do is go to Facebook, and I think I'll let Abby take this one.
I'm not even stressed. You're going to go to Facebook. You're going to search Yes Have Some Podcast Group Therapy, and you're going to request to join the group. You're going to click the thing to request. Why does this happen to me?
Abby, I think you could have stopped at request to join the group. I think that was it. You didn't have to keep going.
That was it.
Guys, I quit.
Abby just quit. And here's our new, we're bringing in our brand new co-host, Gabby Fardner.
Gabby Farter. That's all I do. Guys, I'm getting fired. I don't even quit. I'm so sorry.
Gabby Farnsworth.
That's it.
All right. You guys ready?
5 stars.
Let's do it.
Yes.
It's time.
Please.
For the vintage, traditional. Yes, have some. That is not our song. Fuck budget. Here we go.
Fuck. I don't give a fuck.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
All right, you guys ready to fuck budget?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right, for those of you who are not familiar with the fuck budget, it is the fun segment we do around here at Yes Have Some podcast where we have 5 topics in the world of movies. 80s movies, modern movies, movie news, franchise films, Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, toys, things like that. We take 5 topics and we have Abby and Jake allocate their fucks. How many fucks do they give about each one of these breaking news stories? And they only have 10 fucks to give. They have 10 fucks in the fuck bank. They got to allocate them wisely. Are you guys ready to spend your fucks?
Yes.
I am. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool.
Thank you, Papa Craig.
Hey.
It's a good one. It's a good week.
We got to figure out a way to get you guys a couple extra fucks. This is tough this week. These are topics that I purposefully, when I created this, I said, this is not going to be easy.
I had a hard time.
This is going to be the kind of one where they spend their fucks, and next thing you know, they're back at customer service returning that merchandise.
And I'm like, this one didn't fit.
Let's do it, guys.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. Topic number 1. I'm killing time. I'm finding my list.
Hey, that's fine. Have you you're looking for your list? I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the movie The Frighteners?
No.
Michael J. Fox?
Yeah, Peter Jackson.
I have someone who's told me to watch that a lot.
I feel like I haven't, but maybe I have.
Okay. Well, Jake Busey came out. He's in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came out saying that there is legitimately a 5-hour version of this movie somewhere. Peter Jackson filmed 5 fucking hours.
I'm so surprised.
And they said it's like, yeah, but this movie is kind of like, it's kind of Ghostbusters. It's like about a guy who sees ghosts and he's like, you know, he's got friends who are like, it's kind of a silly plot, but he said that the first draft or whatever was like 7 or 8 hours, and they filmed a ton of shit, like whole plot lines with actors that just completely got cut out. And he's like, he has it somewhere. It was all filmed. It was all shot.
What if Christopher Lloyd was in it originally?
God, that would have been amazing.
Fuck.
The original. It was called The Frighteners, Return of the King. That was the original name. Peter Jackson, you son of a bitch. Actually, a lot of people don't know it's Peter Jackson's King Kong. There's a 3.5-hour version. It was in theaters. It's called Peter Jackson's King Kong. Yeah. All right, guys, let's do this. It's time for the fuck budget. Number 1, James Gunn news. As of today, there's still no official decision on whether James Gunn is coming back to direct Guardians of the Galaxy, but the recent report says Disney's probably keeping the script. James Gunn turned in a first draft of the script. They're more than likely keeping it. He's also getting offers from other studios, including Warner Brothers, which is leading to rumors of a DC-directed James Gunn movie. Abigail Gardner, when it comes to James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy 3 script possibly being used without him as the director, how many fucks do you give?
I give this 4 fucks, and I would give it more, but there are other things I care about. I am so conflicted about this. I feel like a child whose parents are in the midst of like a really messy divorce. And like, I feel like the fact that they're still possibly going to go ahead and use the script that James Gunn wrote is like, okay, so maybe they're just separating. Like, it won't be as bad. Like, there's still going to be some, like, his presence felt in some way. But dude, like, I am so stressed about this because it's like, if he does a DC film, I would be halfway interested, because as I was thinking about this, it's almost like when he took Guardians of the Galaxy, that property was something that people were unfamiliar with. And it was like well, there's like a fucking tree and a raccoon in this. Like, how is this going to be something good? And he took it and made it good. It would be neat to see him go behind and do something for DC in that way and like energize and bring new light to something and make it good. Like, but God, I want him to stay on Guardians of the Galaxy, and I want him to direct Volume 3, and I want them to use his script. So does Dave Bautista. I fucking love Dave Bautista. I don't think I would legitimately sit out of this film and possibly boycott like all Marvel movies. That's how I felt when I first heard the news. So like, if I could give this more fucks, I would, but I'm only giving it 4 because of what, else we're going to talk about. But this is like a fucked up, weird situation, and I'm very stressed about it.
Jake?
I only gave this 1 fuck. And I don't know if I only gave it 1 fuck because I'm just fucking annoyed with the entire thing, because it sounds like complete bullshit. Like, isn't it almost worse to fire him but keep his script? Like, what's the fucking point of firing him? Like, why is he such a bad person we have to fire him?
And since when is Disney so good? What about Song of the South and like all their other bullshit from like, that's what I was looking up. That's what this made me think of, because it's like, who's blameless? Like, who hasn't done something in their past or whatever? It's just annoying. It's just like, that's such an annoying thing to do. It's like, if you're gonna fire him, then fucking do something new. Like, start over, because even though they're keeping his script, it's gonna feel weird. He's not the director. Like, it's just not gonna feel the same. Like, he has his own little things that, every director is different, and it's not like you write a script with the intent of directing it yourself and then just pass it off to somebody else to try to direct and copy your directing style. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel weird. It's gonna it might not be bad, but there's gonna be something off about it. Yeah.
And also, fuck Disney for like pulling this. It's such a weird move. And like, I read that Feige has nothing to do with it. It's above Marvel's head. Marvel isn't the one. Like, Marvel didn't make this decision.
Right.
They have no fucking say. They are owned by Disney. This is a Disney thing. So it's just like it sticks them in such a weird place, because like, not only like do you have Guardians, but also like, I'm pretty sure James Gunn had a hand in writing the Guardians parts for Avengers. So like, there's another Avengers movie. Like, it just feels weird, and it's like affecting other stuff.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah. And it's just stupid.
I recommend everybody. There was 2 articles that were interesting. One was on Collider, and the original one was on The Hollywood Reporter. There's a couple things that just stood out that are just the whole, like Jake and Abby just said, the whole thing feels fucking weird. So here's the things that stood out to me. One, whether or not he directs it, more than likely they're estimating James Gunn is making $7 to $10 million.
Yeah.
So
no matter what, because
no matter what happens,
contract.
Yeah, but yeah.
So that's one thing that's very interesting. 2, the DC thing, which I do like how Warner Brothers is like, oh, he said what? He gonna do what to what kid? Fuck, we'll take him, man, because fuck, we need to do something around here. Get these people motivated. Number 3, the fact that it says that there's a chance he might get fired from Guardians but offered another Marvel property makes no sense.
No, what happened? This is exactly what happened. Disney fired him as like a knee-jerk reaction. They didn't think it through. They didn't think it through. They didn't research what was happening. All they saw was like, oh, there's public outrage over something that James Gunn did. We fire him now to get out of it. They fired him, and now they're like, well, we can't like look like a bunch of idiots and go back on that. We can't rehire. It's like a pride thing. They don't want to go back and we're Disney. We don't make mistakes like that.
The whole thing's fucked because like the
such
people
a weird fucking thing.
Here's and I might have made this point, but I'm going to make it again. The people that found these tweets in James Gunn's past and made this big deal, they are not doing it for the reasons that they're portraying.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about kids or sexual abuse victims or victims of pedophilia. They are fucking conspiracy. This isn't even like conservative versus liberal, Republican versus Democrat. This is like far right nutcases, like people like Alex Jones, who make a career out of being fucking mad at the world and just
garbage humans.
These are garbage human beings who don't fucking. They didn't do this for the right reasons.
Like who's pointing the finger? It's fucking not fair.
If you hold on real quick, I want to say, and I've said it before, if you are ever getting on social media, I don't care who you are, and you are calling for somebody to lose their job that is a celebrity, like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Go do something productive, please.
Unless it's Ryan Johnson. Just kidding.
Yes, unless it's Ryan Johnson. Fuck that guy. He ruined it. All right, go for it, Jake.
I think everyone involved in Guardians of the Galaxy should quit. And then they should take whatever money some other studio would offer them, because they would, and go make Protectors of the Universe.
Yeah, like some
just change the name.
Like an R-rated.
Make the same fucking movie.
Make the same movie with Shakira.
Yes, dude. Yes, and then dude.
Abby, talk about the Dave Bautista thing real quick, because that's an interesting part of all this too.
Well, I mean, I haven't read. I read he basically said that he wouldn't do it. Like he has no interest.
They're contractually obligated, but he wants out. He's like, if James Gunn's not directing this,
would. Yeah. He said if they don't use the script, he would ask to be released from his contract.
He also called out Chris Pratt.
Doesn't mean they would. Yeah, he did. He called out the others.
For needing to
pray about it. I would think they would do the same. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Real quick. So when they hear this news and Chris Pratt
Pratt didn't need to pray about it. He had to consult with somebody, I imagine.
What does that what does that mean? As a religious person, what are you praying? Dear Lord, my friend James Gunn made a bunch of pedophilia jokes. What do I do? Like that
it's just the equivalent of like sleeping on it.
I'm gonna sleep on it.
Yeah.
It's like giving a little bit of time to like react to it or whatever.
God, it's so frustrating. I hope
the whole thing's dumb.
Yeah.
I hope by the time this episode's out, it'll all be settled and James Gunn will be back and the people who got him fired, their houses get hit by the tornado from Twister.
Yeah.
I hope that's what happens.
Still out there.
It's still out there.
It's still out there, Joe. You've never seen it. Miss this house and miss that house and then wait 30 years and come back for your house. Yeah.
Hey guys, how is it possible we bring everything back around to Twister? No matter how
because it's the most important movie of all time.
It binds us all together.
It's the top
finger of God. That's what Chris Pratt needed to do. So I don't know. Or should we move it on?
We're moving on. Number 2. You guys ever heard of Star Trek: The Next Generation?
Yes.
Okay.
Heard of it. Yeah.
So there was this. Okay, I mean, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan, but basically there was this second Star Trek, and then Professor X was in it, and then it's not around anymore. But fucking Patrick Stewart is back, motherfuckers. Picard is back. They are doing a new Star Trek series. It is going to be on the CBS All Access streaming service. It is a follow-up, not a reboot, not a retooling, not a sequel, but the continuing story of Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jake, when it comes to Patrick Stewart reprising that famous role, how many fucks do you give?
Now, this I gave 4 fucks to. Because
this guy's gonna spend his fucks.
He gonna spend his
because
fucks.
Like, so there is a lot of Star Trek out there, and it similar to Star Wars, it and similar to anything where there's just that much content, it kind of is all over the place in terms of tone and like quality and just all of that. And the Next Generation is such a good show. It is amazing. Like, I have consistently in my life just like gone back and watched that show, and every time it's just so good. And and everybody in it is good, and it's more than just Patrick Stewart that makes it good, but Patrick Stewart is amazing. Like, he is his captain it's great. And it just feels amazing, like for that to have more of that, and for that to come back, and to know that after so long we're gonna get more. And like Patrick Stewart is just taking him out of Star Trek. He's great. And like everything he does, especially like recently, the last few things he's done, he's been amazing in everything. And just to see him come back to something like Star Trek, it feels so good.
I'm watching Logan tonight.
Dude, fuck. I was about to say fucking Logan. About it. God damn it, yeah.
Abby.
Dude, I mean, I see your 4 fucks, Jake. I wish I could give 4 fucks. I give it 2 fucks. And I like The Next Generation. I've watched it most of the way through. It's like extremely entertaining. I think that while it's a little bit campy, which I like, it also has like really good like storytelling, and the characters are extremely progressive, and the setting and everything about it is like very forward thinking. And it's a little bit silly and like over the top, but like Jean-Luc Picard is like the anchor of like seriousness, and like you kind of like sit up straight, when he walks on screen, and it's going to be really fucking cool to see his story continued. So yeah, I'm giving it 2 fucks, and I want to go rewatch The Next Generation again now.
Couple follow-up questions. So there's a couple Next Generation movies that were made up until I think like 2002 was the last one. They're not so great. They're like, there's some entertainment there, but I don't know. What are those movies like?
They might end up on a
First Contact episode, or Genesis or whatever.
Yeah, there's a few, and there's a few that are like they're fine, right, but they're not great. They're not like great. They feel very like unworthy to the rest of the series when you watch, and you're like, oh, how is this what we've ended up with?
I think anytime so Star Trek as a series, they're always so self-contained, and so much of the story has to do with the characters and their dynamics with each other and their interactions on the bridge and in the Enterprise and exploring the galaxy. And anytime you're thrown into that world where it's like a battle and it's like big budget, it almost kind of cheapens the experience.
Yeah,
because
I hope this has more like holodeck and like weird like 1920s flashbacks.
Well, what do you guys think? What other characters would you guys want to see pop up in this? Because there's going to be some cameos.
Wesley Crusher, Beverly.
I think it's Wesley Crusher would be amazing. Like I think it's not out of. I think any of them could come back. Q.
Fuck yeah!
Easily, Worf could come back.
We have some stories about Q.
Yeah,
we can't tell them now for bonus episode content.
I think it opens the door to bring back any members from The Next Generation, and I believe they probably all could/would do it.
Is there a chance that this is at all tied to the possible Tarantino Star Trek movie? You think
that still a thing? I don't think that's still like. He's deep in like filming a movie right now.
Yeah, but he's in the middle of filming that Sharon Tate Charles Manson movie. But last I heard, they were actively developing 2 Star Trek movies. One was going to be the next one in the series with Chris Pine and Simon Pegg and those guys, and the other one was going to be the Tarantino one. But we'll see. Either way,
Margot Robbie looks amazing in that Sharon Tate movie.
I'm so excited for that movie. But that's another story for another day. You guys ready for the next? Mm-hmm. All right.
Let's do it.
You guys ever heard of NECA? One of my favorite toy companies.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Why am I starting all these with... I'm going to stop it. Hey, have you guys ever heard of a movie called Star Wars? It's about a bunch of space wizards on their ship-a-doos.
I want you to do it like Tom Cruise would do it, though, with like whatever lack of knowledge that you have.
He's like, wait a minute. So they die, and they come back as ghosts, and they impart wisdom on the people who they were already imparting wisdom.
And when you heard that audience and you're watching...
Yeah. It's a comedy. It's a drama. Okay, NECA announced they are putting out a 12-inch Godzilla action figure. Now, NECA has had the Godzilla license. They've from what I've seen, they put out like all the different versions of Godzilla in like an 8 or 9 inch scale. I saw the Shin Godzilla at Target the other day. Beautiful action figure. They're doing really good stuff over there at NECA. But they announced a 12-inch Godzilla figure specifically from King Kong vs. Godzilla, which as a child was my favorite because I loved King Kong. I think it's the only one I actually owned. When it comes to the 12-inch NECA Godzilla, Jake, how many fucks do you give?
Okay, first of all, I gave this 3 fucks, but I think maybe some people are getting confused about the fact that it's 12 inches. It's 12 inches long.
Okay.
It's 6 inches tall, which is in line with the rest of their figures.
Okay, so this is not like a... Okay, I see.
Okay.
So this is part of their regular series.
This is part of the regular Godzilla series. They're all 12 inch. It's from head to tail. They're all 12 inches long.
Oh yeah, you got to measure from.
They're 6 inches high. So I know that can be a little confusing, but I gave it 3 because NECA they've always done pretty good. They've always, you know what? Scratch what I just said. NECA has always been consistently amazing with all of their figures across the board.
They know they're cool.
There's been a few like a few of their Godzilla figures that might look like a tiny bit off, but also I feel like that might be a little harder to get right when there's so many weird small differences between suits. So it's like, it's something you give, it's fine, whatever. But the suit from King Kong versus Godzilla, it's one of my favorites. He just looks fun and kind of goofy in that movie. And it's just cool to see that they're going to do that suit. And this sculpt of that suit, it looks pretty dead on. Like it looks like one of their best sculpts so far out of all the Godzilla stuff. So I gave it 3.
Yeah.
3 fucks. Abby?
Well, I agree that it looks fantastic, but I'm only giving it 0 fucks because
you're only giving it 0?
0 fucks. I'm giving it 0 fucks because I don't have the same level of interest in Godzilla as Jake. It's very cool looking, but this week I had to give my fucks to different things.
Jake, right. You still there? Oh, you're still there. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, I'm here.
I didn't know. I thought you maybe dropped out. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing the movie when I was younger, but it's not something that I've like rewatched. So maybe after seeing it again, I'd, have more fucks to give. It's very cool looking. NECA knows they're cool.
Yeah, like, it's a great company, man.
Yeah, I don't have to give them compliments.
What I love about these figures too is like the price point. It's only like $22-$23.
Yeah.
And like you're getting a quality action figure with really good displayability. Jake, when it comes to Godzilla versus King Kong or King Kong versus Godzilla, whatever it was called, is it urban legend that there was 2 different endings to that movie? True. That's not true.
There's not. It's just confusing because it's confusing the people because it ends with like the 2 of them landing in the water.
Okay.
And they like fall off a cliff, they land in the water, and you see King Kong emerge from the water and just walk away.
Okay.
And then you see some bubbles leading in the opposite direction.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it ends. It ends with kind of like neither one of them winning, but it turned into one of those things where people were like, oh, well, King Kong rises out of the water at the end, so he wins. And then there was like, yeah, well, there's another ending where Godzilla rises up, but that's completely false.
And then they realized their moms had the same name.
They fall into the water and they're like, all right, we're done.
Here comes an off topic, not related. The 1994 Royal Rumble. So you guys know the rules of the Royal Rumble in WWF, WWE.
Yeah.
You get thrown over the top rope, your feet hit, bam, you're out. So that one ended with like Bret Hart and Lex Luger both went over they were the last 2 and they both went over. And the thing was like their feet hit at the same time. So therefore they couldn't figure out like who the winner was.
Ooh.
But they fucking botched it. And I can't remember who, but one of them actually clearly hit first.
And then we all had to act like
and we all had to act. They were like, oh, Bret Hart's feet hit first. Like, or they hit the same time.
And there's no replay because they know that it's...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They like didn't show the angle at all.
They should have filmed it.
That's amazing.
God.
That's great.
Amazing.
So really, it's just like that. Not that I'm comparing Bret Hart and Lex Luger to Godzilla and King Kong, because although Bret Hart is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, we're not going to pretend that Lex Luger is a kaiju level. He had his moments.
He's okay.
But no, that movie's cool. Also, I'm trying to think. They're about to do another Kong versus Godzilla. Is the Kong and Skull Island is a lot bigger? Or is it just assumed that he's the same size as the new Godzilla?
No, he's not. You can they have his size somewhere. Like you can look it up. They tell you like how big he is. And now the Kong from the new Skull Island is definitely way bigger than like any of the original King Kongs because he was only about 20 feet tall. but they make a few references to him still being young in Skull Island, and that movie takes place, in the
60s or whatever.
In the 60s, so you got to think you got some years of growth. You're just assuming that he's going to be grown probably to at this point he's probably half Godzilla size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I hope they have a line in the script like, "Whoa, that's a grown ass Kong."
Yeah. When you're getting into like the old Japanese Godzilla versus King Kong, they just did not care. They just didn't care, and they made King Kong Godzilla size.
I want to start
they were
calling
just
him
like
Grown Kong.
That was their own version. There was a movie called King Kong Escapes that came out in Japan, and it's like the story of King Kong, but they made their King Kong, fucking hundreds of feet tall. So.
Yeah. Well, that's better.
Yeah.
It's definitely better with Peter Jackson's King Kong.
Size does matter.
Peter Jackson's King Kong was like basically like just a pretty big gorilla.
Well, that's basically what I think King Kong was originally supposed to be. He's supposed to be just a big gorilla, know?
Peter Jackson's King Kong was like 5 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I like that. I think that movie's pretty good though.
That movie's good. It's kind of I like watching it around Christmas time. There's a lot of snow in that movie. Is there? There's some snow.
There is towards the end. Yeah, towards the end. There is once they're back in New York. The last 2 hours of the movie probably have a lot of snow.
Yeah, the last 10 hours. Also, the King Kong Broadway show starts in a couple weeks, and that's getting some buzz.
Oh, really? I want to see that.
Yeah.
So get your tickets, folks.
Yeah.
You guys ready for the next?
Up.
Speaking of CBS All Access, Jordan Peele is producing the reboot of the Twilight Zone, and they're about to start filming. They've got a 10-episode outline that they've done, and it's going to be on the streaming service. Twilight Zone is coming back. And Abby, my question for you is, would you buy that for $1?
I'd buy that for $1, and for $3, I would be invested in this particular category.
Okay, talk about it.
Dude, I love the Twilight Zone. I grew up watching marathons of the Twilight Zone like every 4th of July. It was like just scary enough for me, and I was also allowed to watch it because, it was made back in the 50s and early 60s. So it was approved of by my parents, and I just it was something that I used to watch and be terrified of later on, and it used to scare the shit out of me. And I really also like Jordan Peele a lot. I really liked, obviously loved Get Out. I think I said it was one of my 3 favorite movies of last year. So I'm like, this is amazing. This is very exciting. I think it's going to be good. I think that, watching Black Mirror on Netflix, that show is like kind of has the same vibe as the Twilight Zone. So I think there's like a space for it. And I think that Jordan Peele is the guy to do it. So I'm extremely excited about this, and I give it $3 because I care.
Jake?
I gave it all of my remaining fucks, which is 2, but now looking back, I would maybe switch some stuff up a little bit, and maybe I would have given it 3, because I feel pretty much the exact same way Abby does. I think the Twilight Zone is just one of the most fun series that's ever been on TV. It's like the show, the movie, it's just such a cool, like, I'm pretty sure we've talked multiple times about how fun like anthologies are, and it's that kind of thing. And you can have different directors, and they can be sci-fi, or they can be kind of silly, or they could be scary. There's always room for like monsters and just weird shit to be happening, and time, like just anything. And it's all fun stuff. Like almost, there's so many episodes of, there was the original Twilight Zone, and then they rebooted it like in the 90s, and the band Korn did the theme song. Why do I know that? But
because you're full of fun facts.
Korn is
sweet. Anyway, like almost any episode of Twilight Zone you could put on and like have a good time watching it. They're all fun.
Not when you watch it with Abby Gardner, because if she doesn't know the twist, she's either announcing it beforehand or she's guessing it, and she's always right. Like, we'll be
hold on. I think I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're watching it. I'm like, I've never seen this one. We're like 2 minutes in. She's like, they're in a dollhouse. They're in a fucking dollhouse. Like, God damn it.
It's an alien spaceship.
Abby's like, well, it's not a spoiler if I don't really know it. I'm like, well, if you can guess it.
There's so many, like, when you watch shows like The Twilight Zone, there are so many episodes. First of all, a lot of episodes were written by this guy, Richard Matheson, who he's the guy who wrote like the Nightmare at is it 30,000 feet? You know, the one with like the famous episode with like he wrote that. He wrote the box episode, which turned into a movie, and he wrote he wrote a lot of horror short stories, and a few were made for Twilight Zone episodes. And when you watch Twilight Zone and you watch an episode and you're like, whoa, like why isn't this a movie? Like there's so many old episodes that could easily be turned into.
Oh, he also wrote Duel, which was the Steven Spielberg's first.
He did. He wrote Duel. Yep.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, but that's another thing that like there's a lot of the scripts are so good. Like they're very fun stories, and I feel like a lot of
and they're like poignant and sometimes like political or social commentary, which I feel like Jordan Peele will fucking knock out of the park.
Dude, I bet that is a fun writer's room where they're just tossing around ideas.
I bet it's woke as fuck.
Oh, they're so woke in there. Wait, what if it's like every episode's like, that was good, but I think they just did Get Out again. Like
that's fine with me. Literally.
Yeah, I do think he's the guy to do it. I think he's directing another movie that's coming out. I think Key and Peele are both extremely talented. I think Jordan Peele we're going to be looking back at as one of the kind of like standout content creators of this generation, because the fact is he's doing cool shit. It's not like he's just going to like. I'm sure he could be directing a fucking Marvel movie right now, but he's like, no, I'm going to reboot the fucking Twilight Zone.
Gremlins 3. I just thought of that.
Well, you know they want to do Gremlins 2.
I know, because they have that sequel pitch sketch, which is great. Yeah.
So good. Well, cool. So we'll be keeping our. That's going to be one that we'll be talking a lot about once it really. Oh, people were asking, by the way, we are going to talk about Castle Rock, but not all of us are caught up to where. How many are out so far? Is there 3 or 5 out? Or 4?
Well, 3, 4. I think today the 5th episode came out.
Okay, so maybe
next time we talk,
I'm not caught up either.
Yeah, maybe what we can do is once we all get to the halfway point of 5, we'll do like a season breakdown so far, something like that. Because I know people have been asking. We talk a lot about Steve McQueen around here, or whatever his name is. And,
a bunch of Steve McQueens.
It's the first couple episodes were awesome, so I'm looking forward to that. All right, that was a little sidebar. You guys ready for number 5 in this budget?
Yes. Yep.
All right, this is an interesting one to me.
To Craig.
In an effort to gain a larger and possibly younger audience, the Academy of Motion Picture, is that what they're called? The Oscars. They announced today a new category that will be for popular movie. So think about it this way. Every year, a bunch of like more artsy, underground, independent type films get nominated for Oscars. And everybody's like, what about The Dark Knight? What about Star Wars?
What about The Matrix?
Yeah, I thought Matrix was good. That's my guy. My guy's back.
Yeah, I'm glad he's back. Yeah,
Hey, man, here's what I'm thinking. Listen. If I'm watching, if you have a category called Best Picture and Keanu Reeves ain't involved, I ain't watching. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so they're going to introduce this new category. There's already a huge backlash. People are like, listen, we know you want more viewers. We know you want to appeal to a younger audience, but what the fuck? This is not like the VMAs or the MTV Movie Awards. Like, have some goddamn
it's like
dignity.
They think they're smarter than us just putting this category out. Like,
anyways,
here, let them have their cake.
Who's first, Abby or Jake? I can't remember.
Do you want to go at the same time, or
Abby? How many?
Actually, no, I do. I give one fuck to this.
All right, there you go.
Because I don't know.
That's all the time we have.
Maybe Star Wars will win a fucking Oscar.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But what does that mean? All right, before I go on my rant, Jake, how many fucks do you give?
I gave it 0.
I knew. Yeah,
okay.
I didn't have any left.
All right, so nobody gives a Okay, from a budgetary, conscious place, nobody gives a fuck. Now let's have a discussion. To me,
I have stuff to say about this.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Jake.
Yeah.
So talk to me, buddy.
Now I did give it 0 fucks. One, because the rest of my fucks were spoken for. I would have given it 0 anyway, because here's the thing. The Oscars, they don't matter. They don't matter. They're bullshit. They're all like they have always been like, first of all, movies are, you can watch a movie and be like, hey, you know what, that was technically made well, that was a good movie. But overall, we can watch fucking Ghostbusters and it can generally be liked, and the general public can be like, hey, that's a good movie. Mm-hmm. But also, people love garbage. Like, there are people who love movies you think are the worst movie ever. And there are people who think Ghostbusters sucks. You know what I mean? Like, movies are, it's a taste thing. So it's weird it's subjective. And also on top of the fact that, like, it's weird to be giving out awards in that way. Historically, the Oscars are just full of shit. They are. And like, if you go back, I was kind of excited to see this pop up on the Fuck Budget, because I've read a few articles in the past and I went and dug them up when I saw this, where they talk about they take a few years of the Oscars and they're like, okay, this is the movie that won the Best Picture, and then here are the 3 or 2 movies that were up against it. And there are some of these articles give you like specific examples, and they're like, this movie that won, most of you probably have no idea what this movie, have never heard of it. Mm-hmm. But here's a movie that didn't win, Pulp Fiction or Shawshank Redemption. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, how are these movies that are losing are now these like historical fucking movies that everybody knows is the best movie ever, but they lost to fucking movies you've never heard of. And also there's like there's many instances of the Oscars, like maybe somebody got snubbed one year, and there's instances of when that person was up again basically being given the award for maybe something that wasn't as good as something else that was up that year, but they were given that. Like, there's a lot of like, okay, well, this person's already winning for this, so let's give this award to this other person, even if it's not the best choice. Yeah. And that's
on premise,
bullshit.
It's like you don't agree with any of their decision making anyway. Yeah.
And it's not that, like, I don't feel like I mean, definitely, like, you know, last year, Shape of Water won a lot of awards, and I was very happy about that, because it's fucking Shape of Water. It's a monster movie. It's like, that movie was amazing, and it's Guillermo del Toro, who, like, you feel like deserves that kind of recognition. He's never had it. So I'm not saying, like, I feel like everything they do is wrong, but I feel like these awards aren't given out in a fair way. I think sometimes they're pretty like loosey-goosey with what they're doing, and maybe they aren't giving these awards out really based on you know,
it has more to do with like
being objective about like
popularity or some bullshit.
Exactly. And also, like, on top of all of that, which I feel like is enough to be like, fuck the Oscars. Also, the Oscars has become nothing but a platform for every fucking person that gets on stage to just give you their entire political fucking like agenda. You know what I mean? And like, that's not why is that what it's like? That's what the Oscars are. That's what it's been for the last however many years. It's just like a show and a platform for other people to get up there and give fucking speeches that nobody fucking cares about, that have nothing to do with movies.
Yeah.
And I'm done with that shit.
Dude, here's my best example of the Oscars being bullshit. The 48th Academy Awards, you know, where Jaws was nominated for Best Picture, won a couple awards, whatever, did not win Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg was not nominated for Best Director.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like stuff like yeah, he had good competition that year. Like, he was up against fucking, I don't know, Stanley Kubrick and other people that were like known directors at the time. But like, from a political standpoint, yeah, the speeches are political, but the politics and the behind the scenes shit that goes on to get these movies nominated and voted for is fucking gross. And it has been for a long time. And I know you guys don't really watch a lot of sports, but like in baseball, usually the team that ends up like going to the playoffs and winning the World Series is not the best team from the year. It's usually the team that gets really hot and has a lot of momentum like the last month of the year. Or the last month of the season. And that's very similar to what happens in the Oscars, where you'll have a movie that like when like Moonlight or some of these movies, or like last year with like Lady Bird, like movies that fly under the radar, and then like for whatever reason they like start quote unquote picking up steam like the last 2 weeks before voting. And then you see all these weird movies getting nominated and winning. But having said all that, do we need this new category? Do we need a most popular movie?
No.
Like, because what is it?
No, if they're trying to, it sounds like the MTV Movie Award. Like they're trying to either.
Like, is it like Abby said earlier, fucking Viewer's Choice Award?
Yeah.
You know, there was also, this is also their way of like, you know, there was a lot of backlash when Shape of Water won. And a lot of like, I remember there was a lot of stuff where they were like, well, Shape of Water is it's a horror movie. It's like, the Oscars feel like they're too good for genre movies, you know? So, and that's exactly what this is. It's like, you know, so maybe like The Dark Knight is a superhero film and that's what it's in. But also if you like look past the fact that it's a superhero film, it's also like very technically sound in every way. It's like well acted, it was like well constructed. Like it doesn't matter that it's a superhero film, but the thing with the Oscar, and it's the same way, like they don't want to put like Get Out and like they let Get Out and Shape of Water have nominations, and Shape of Water won, but there was like backlash from the Academy and they like didn't really like that. And they don't, it makes you feel like they don't think those kind of movies are real movies and don't deserve the kind of recognition that an Oscar comes with.
It's bullshit. And
that's
also,
that's what this category is, a cop out. So next year they can put whatever the new Get Out or Shape of Water is, they can put it in this little category, and they can put the fucking artsy movies in best picture.
It's like a fucking music snob who
that's
like,
exactly what it's for.
To me, it sounds like they're like, guys, we have to give Black Panther something. What are we gonna do? And it's like,
let's make a new category that will be awarded on the pre-show, so we don't have to spend any time, you know what? Talking about.
I want to lobby for this. Can we call it the Yes Have Some Oscar? Because it's probably for a movie that we fucking like, or like that we've at least talked about. Like, I'm not I'm kind of twofold. Like, I completely agree with you, Jake, that it is a fucking cop out, and that usually like 7 out of the 10 movies that are nominated for Best Picture, I have no interest in ever fucking watching. And very rarely does the one I like Shape of Water, actually win anything. But yeah, so this is what it's going to be. It's going to be like the nominees next year for this award are going to be fucking The Last Jedi and Black Panther and probably like some other, or you know, Ready Player One, or just like let's give Steven Spielberg an Oscar. Like, it's just gonna feel dumb and
crowd
weird.
appeasing.
Yeah. It cheapens the whole thing.
Bullshit.
Why can't they
and
just
also the
change
people
the
who
system?
like the people who like Black Panther or Avengers, like they're like us. They don't really give a fuck about the Oscars. Like if Shape of Water wouldn't have won, that's not gonna really change like how I feel about that movie. I don't go around telling people like I'm a fan of Oscar award-winning Shape of Water, you know, with a girl and the fish do things. Like, although I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to start introducing myself like that. You ever seen a girl do things with a fish? Well, I have, and let me tell you what, it is a sight to see.
I want you to do that as the other guy.
That's my other new character. Guy who is just shocked about what he just saw in Shape of Water. Well, it opens up with a bare naked woman. I'm talking buttocks and everything. She is pleasuring herself in a bathtub. I did not know a mute could do such a thing.
Wow.
And I haven't even talked about the part where the fish man shows up and she has herself a plate of fish sticks for dinner. And I did not say fish sticks, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, boy.
That reminds me of that South Park
5
episode.
stars.
5 stars. I got 5 stars. Yeah. Hey, that fucking category is full of shit, man. Fuck that.
Yeah, dude. Fuck that shit. Yeah.
All right, cool. Very cool. Well, that was that was fun. I felt, Jake, I knew you'd probably feel strongly about the Oscar thing, but I didn't. Like, that was a good.
I didn't know how strongly. Yeah,
that was good.
I want to have an anti-Oscar party.
It's
like
weird.
Anti-prom.
It's weird, man. The Oscars. It's just so weird because like award shows. It's like they should be fun to watch, and the Oscars is.
Why don't we why don't next year we have an anti-Oscar party like Abby just said, but we'll live stream us watching the Oscars, just
making fun of it, and we'll give awards to the movies that we liked.
Yes, we'll give awards to older movies. Yeah. Like Scream will get an award
every year. Jaws wins Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't they should have an Oscars like a Legends night where a bunch of old movies compete. Yeah. Like
that's a good idea.
Like you have like Best Picture. It's like Jaws, The Shining,
I'm writing all this down.
Empire Strikes Back. I don't know. Yeah. 3 other movies. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I included Empire Strikes Back. Okay. Yes, have some Legends Oscars awards.
We're calling them the Yes Havesies.
The Yes. You can win a Yes Havesy award. I like that.
Well, we'll work on it. We'll see if we can top it. That's the working title.
Cool. Well, listen, folks. This was fun. Thanks for joining us. Like I alluded to earlier in the episode, we've got a lot of stuff going on. So our release schedule, we're going to get you all the episodes this month, and all of our Patreon folks are going to get all their bonus episodes, but our release schedule might be a little weird. So we normally release our episodes on Thursdays, sometimes Friday. You might see one pop up on a Monday or a Saturday. We're going to figure it out because we've got vacations, we've got Dragon Con, we've got tattoo conventions, and we've got a lot of fucking member cards to send out.
Yeah, I have some mail stuff to do.
We got to send some mail.
Costumes to finish. I have to get a drill bit.
Got to get a drill bit. We have to watch Drill Bit Taylor with Owen Wilson.
Yes.
We have to do it all.
We're not doing that last part.
We're not doing that last part.
No.
But we're very excited. August into September and into October is usually the 3 busiest months for us because we've got usually like, besides Dragon Con, other conventions, other trips, and all sorts of stuff. But we're going to get it all to you. We really appreciate everybody checking out Yes Have Some. And like we said earlier, if you can leave those 5-star reviews, we'd really appreciate it. Find us on social media at YHS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast, and of course our official website, YesHaveSomeCast.com. Mm-hmm. Please check out the Violet Ramis Steele interview. Let us know what you thought of that. We want to do, we're like, we've had more guests this year. We're getting more guests on, and we're working on some other cool ones, but we're not going to announce anything yet because, well, we're just not going to. But once we confirm guests, you will be the first to know. Actually, if you're on Patreon, you'll probably be the first to know.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned it a couple times. If you want to look into any of our member tiers, we've as low as $1 a month on Patreon. You can support Yes Have Some. Help us keep the lights on, as they say. Helps us pay for hosting, website costs, audio equipment, things like that. Mm-hmm. We absolutely love what we do. We love doing a fuck budget for you guys every week. And we love talking shit about movies and toys because without movies and toys, I don't think I could live.
Yeah.
Like, if they just got rid of movies and toys, what would I do? Start jogging?
What would we do? Yeah.
Like, what would I do?
Finish reading The Stand?
I would not.
Start reading The Stand?
Like, start reading The Stand. And then I'd be like, oh, have you guys seen the Made for...
And then you'd be really mad that you couldn't go back and watch the movie.
Yeah, fuck!
Gary Sinise is in that movie.
He is, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's my fun fact of the day.
It.
Well, for Abigail Gardner and Jacob Walsh, my name is Craig Goldberg. This has been Yes Have Some Podcast, episode
112.
Thank you for that. That's going to be the new thing. And we'll see everybody next time. Be there or be square.
Later.
It's hip to be square.
It is.
I'm actually really sad about Huey Lewis. He can't perform anymore. He's gone deaf. Happened? Did you guys hear about that?
No, I did not.
He's lost.
Is that true?
It's true. They were like, basically, he's lost 95% of his hearing and he just can't perform anymore. It's really sad. Wow. But I love Huey Lewis in the news. Maybe we'll end tonight's episode.
New drugs. Sorry.
Well, Ray Parker Jr. just knocked. He's got a new Ray Parker's like, well, maybe next time. Oh, wait. No. Ray Parker Jr. stole Huey Lewis's song.
Yeah. Either way.
He's
still knocking. He's still there in the scenario.
Well, I mean, I guess not now, but wouldn't it be fun if we could like secretly get the two of them on the show at the same time and not tell them?
Yeah. Yes. We've tried that with other people. Didn't work out. Remember the time we accidentally got Paul Feig and Dan Harshman on the show at the same time?
Yeah, that was fun.
That was early on in the history of Yes Have Some. It was fun. It was fun. It was a meeting of the minds. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, folks, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Later.
Bye guys.
Bye.